Welcome back, gentlefolk and rapscallions of all persuasions, to another unexpected video about the Stargate series news. And apparently, the news of this escaped containment and made it over to Asmongold. Probably got some more eyes on this, and I will be referencing some of the things that were said in that video as I go through. I'm not exactly surprised. I'm really not. Because we knew from the things that were said at the beginning of this entire process that the original creators wanted to be loyal to the source material, and we know that Amazon burns down everything they touch. So let's get into it in 3, 2, 1, let's jam. All right, so going through the Variety article, which is where the news originally broke, we have Amazon execs were concerned that Gero's take on the series would not have broad appeal beyond the franchise's already dedicated fan base, which is code for he didn't cave to the messaging that they wanted to put in the show because he wanted it to stay loyal to the people who already watched it. You cannot take an IP like Lord of the Rings, like Wheel of Time, like Stargate, and appeal to a broader audience, which, by the way, doesn't appeal to anybody the way that things are being done in media. Now, I don't think it's controversial to say that there's been a steady decline in storytelling over the last however many years this has been. You appeal to your original dedicated fan base because they're the ones that made you a giant in the first place. And you recruit new people to this IP by telling good stories within the framework that already exists. You do not destroy it in the name of whatever you want to staple onto this name to get more people to watch it, instead of staying loyal to what made it great in the first place, which is what I said in my original video about this. So, some parasocial story time for those of you who didn't watch my first video that I made in November. My analytics tell me that if you're here on my long-form content, you are probably an elder Gen Z or millennial dude who is here for my Cosmere content, and I need you to understand that I have respected my skill tree twice in my life. Prior to 2004, it was Harry Potter. Since 2010, it's been the Cosmere. But between 2004 and 2010, I knew more about Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis than anybody else that I knew at the time, and I would not shut up about it. There's one of my friends I never successfully got into Stargate, but I suckered him into the Cosmere in the end. This is my comfort universe. I had dental surgery a couple of months ago, and seasons 4 and 5 were on 24/7 while I was on the couch recovering. I didn't have the same affinity for Atlantis that I did for SG-1, but it does hold a special place in my heart because I followed it from the beginning, from the start of season 1, to the point where I went, oh, Ronan Dex is in Game of Thrones. And all the things happening in universe aside, the creators themselves really hung a lantern on what would happen to the series if it went on too long, because this was in an episode in season 10 where they're trying to effectively make an in-world version of Stargate SG-1 to throw people off the scent that it's a real government program.
One of the new junior executives at the network has suggested we recast the whole movie with younger, edgier versions of the team. Can you imagine that?
Yo, Wonder Bread, you got that address figured out yet?
I don't think Mitchell likes me anymore.
I'm pregnant.
No.
Nope.
And my biggest fear with all of this is that Amazon is not going to listen. They're not going to get the message. They're going to fire everyone who is associated with the original shows, bring in people who don't care about it, don't care about the team, don't care about what made it so beloved, and they're just going to destroy it. They're going to destroy it the way they destroyed Wheel of Time. Here's the thing. Because my original video was titled Amazon Needs to Learn from Wheel of Time, it's because all of the nonsensical things that they put in Wheel of Time were already there if they just waited. Like, you have Perrin in a marriage where he has to deal with things. You have a polyamorous relationship between multiple of the main characters in the later books. You just had to be patient for it and not completely throw everything out. It did not need to be shoehorned in, and you don't need to update Stargate for modern sensibilities, because the modern sensibilities are already there if you have a shred of media literacy, or if you want to use the allegories that exist to apply them to the ideologies that you value. I'll give you a couple of examples. You want your girl boss?
Carter's our expert on Stargate.
Where's he transferring from?
She is transferring from the Pentagon.
But of course you go by Sam.
You don't have to worry, Major. I played with dolls when I was a kid.
This is the pilot episode.
And just because my reproductive organs are on the inside instead of the outside, doesn't mean I can't handle whatever you can handle.
And I am going to take this opportunity to fire back at Daniel Green about something that's been bothering me since November.
One thing that might piss people off, Diet Starbuck. It's the first thing I thought when I saw that character fight me. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's not even a major character. Diet Starbuck.
Carter isn't Diet anything. She predated the Katie Sackhoff version of Starbuck by years, and the only thing they have in common are that they are both female military fighter pilots with short blonde hair. Starbuck is the gender-swapped version of the original character from the 1978 Battlestar Galactica, and she is a ball of trauma and pain. And her flying is intrinsically connected to her character and the fact that she's always running from something. Carter, by contrast, has her flight credentials mentioned in the pilot episode because that's something that she did in the past and has gone on to do something much harder. The GATE program as it exists at the start of the series wouldn't exist without her. Starbuck could never. Anyways, back on topic. The overarching plot in the entire series is about overturning entrenched political and social power structures and liberating the oppressed through aligning with people whose ideology does not match your own. No one is a paragon, and these societies feel real because there are social mores that we, as the humans of Earth, fundamentally disagree with and don't understand. Beneath the Surface, SG-1's Frostpunk episode, and by the way, an absolute masterclass in costume design and showing class stratification through dress, I could do an entire video on that, deals with the ethical implications of imprisoning your political dissidents, re-education, labor camps, and the people within the system who are complicit with it as a way of life. These are the big ideological things that Stargate SG-1 decided to grapple with in a 45-minute episode, and they did this in 22-episode seasons, back when we had that kind of TV format and not 8 episodes every 2 to 3 years where the quality of the story has absolutely completely tanked. And I could also do an entire video on how Daniel Jackson went from a self-righteous academic to a world-weary interstellar explorer, but I do genuinely believe that he had the best character arc out of any of the main cast, and Michael Shanks is out here naming names when people are asking who they can get in touch with to try and keep the series going, because this man knows a thing or two about fan voices in this space. The lore drop on that is he left Stargate SG-1 at the end of Season 5, and there was so much fan outcry that they brought him back for Seasons 7 through 10. He is out here letting people know who they can get in contact with to make their voices heard. And I think it's really important that if this is something that is meaningful to you, don't let them ruin the thing you love. If there is any way that anybody with power is listening, so that this doesn't become the new Ring of Power, we gotta do something, okay? Because otherwise, they're just gonna fire everyone and do whatever the hell they want anyway. We had a diverse cast, we had modern sensibilities, and we're tired of studios stapling on whatever messaging they feel needs to go out to people instead of telling a good story.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?
Please let me know if you want more Stargate-themed videos, because there's so much in here that could be taken up with more productive stuff, but it's all fandom-related, so leave your suggestions in the comments below. Please do all those delicious things that feed the almighty algorithm. Like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you think of this Amazon MGM news. And until next time, bye.